Alright guys, time for a semi-official rollout of the new dash cluster 3D printed inserts that I have. I obviously don't have anything in there now. I do have the original one. It's kind of damaged, so I don't even know if I'm going to end up using that. But what I have made are two designs so far. This is going to be for your standard 5-inch aftermarket gauges, be it speedometer and tach, and sometimes they have the actual little gauges inside. And then this one is going to be for obviously a 6 gauge. You got your 3-inchers and then your 2s. I want to say it's like 3 3/8 or something like that. I forget exactly. And then this one is just the 2 gauges. This one itself comes with these 6, and then it also comes with 2 different. Well, it'll be offered with 2 different style. See these little guys right here? Those are going to actually be turn signals. This one kind of has a bit of a carbon fiber look to it, and this one doesn't. Let's go ahead and show you guys how that looks. Whatever I can do with one hand here. So I did end up using 2 LED turn signal bulbs just so it can be a little bit brighter. And this is what we're at right now. Oh, I'm gonna disconnect it somewhere. There we go. Obviously one of them's turned the wrong way, but they're easy enough to switch back. So that should be enough light for any setup. Obviously you'll have to wire it up to the factory turn signals, however that may be. I haven't figured that out yet. And as you can obviously see, these clusters are made as a 2-piece, so there is a seam in the middle. It's just easier for me to print the way that I'm doing it. And you can see some of the finish. There's a little bit of finish mark there. The way 3D printing works, there's going to be one rougher side, and this is the size that I chose. Obviously it's going to be recessed in there. You're not going to see it, but it is a little rougher. I mean, the piece itself, in my opinion, if it's going to be some kind of show car or something like that, then go ahead and sand this thing down and paint it or do whatever you need to do. Otherwise, there's always going to be some small imperfections. Obviously, you can see inside the circle of the 3-inch. It's a little rough here. You might need to sand it down a little bit. And I might do some of that myself just to fit the gauges in, but I'm not too worried about some of this just because once the gauge goes through, you're going to have the brim on there as well. So you're not even going to see any of that. So now that I've showed these 2 designs to you, let's get them fitted and show you guys how the install is. Alright, before I go ahead and install this, I'm just going to show you guys a little bit on that turn signal. So they both kind of go into the back there. They're both going to use a 194, I believe it is, bulb. Again, I used an LED for mine just so it has better output. Syncs right into this guy. Both have a negative and positive. And you're going to wire that out to your factory setup. You can kind of see in here that there's a couple little knobbies in there that this guy's going to twist and lock into, just kind of like your standard socket. So let's see. Try to do this with one hand. Goes in there, spins into place, and boom, there you go. And then you're just going to wire this up as you need to. So it's just that simple. Now let's get one of these installed. Alright, so right now we have the cluster and everything outside of the vehicle already, so we don't have to worry about any of that removal. The kit is going to come with both of these screws and nuts that are going to hold this guy together. Once you get it bolted together, it's also going to come with these small 2, I want to say number 8 by 3/4 or 1-inch machine screws. Those are going to bolt it into the top place. So let's see, we're going to line these 2 bottom tabs up, and then you're pressing the top. You may have to push these corners just a smidge to kind of get it past it. There you go. The middle, you can see, kind of hangs down just a tiny bit, and we are going to line those up with the holes. The design, I did have them slotted, so if you need to push it further in, you can do that. Alright, so we got both of those screws lined up into their little holes that lock them into the dash. I'm going to press up and then tighten these screws down at the same time. Boom, and there you go. That's the install. I mean, obviously the fitment could be a little bit better. You see some gapping down here in the corners and whatnot. It's not perfect. I'm not advertising it as perfect. Like I said, with it being a 3D printed part, the finish isn't even always going to be, you know, what everybody's looking for, especially with that seam right in the middle. But it's definitely a good option for anybody looking. And I think I'm pretty happy with it. So there you go. I mean, I would definitely put the gauges in beforehand, because I don't know how you'd lock them into the back as well as putting the wiring in. But there you go. But feel free to message me. I'll leave my email, or just shoot me a message and I can get a couple of these more made up, as well as if you want one with a turn signal. This dual one, I still have to figure out how I'm going to put a turn signal in it due to the lack of space. I may end up popping them right in the corner here. But yeah, let me know if you're interested and I'll get some made up. All right, thanks guys. Take it easy.